The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm the show pony David Rodgers alongside Michael Heater, and joining us behind the camera tonight is our very own Mr. Dave Holland, our senior producer. No Byron Bagwell and no Mitchell Gunner tonight, but great to have you along. Tonight's show is sponsored by Miracle Automotive and Towing. When you need automotive help, don't pray for a miracle, call Miracle. And by Mitchell Gunner Racing, be sure to follow Mitchell's latest exploits and all things motorsports on our sister show, On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, with your host, Mitchell Gunner. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's joining us, please bow your head. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we have with our brotherhood, dear Lord. The On the Spot team with David Rodgers, known as the DOR, the Defenders of the Republic. That's exactly what we do. We defend the Republic and give any information out and spread it to our viewers and let our viewers decide what they would like to do with that information. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America, the freest and most powerful country in the world today, dear Lord. Thank you for our armed forces as they're out there each and every day and every night. They're out there protecting our freedoms and our rights from not only domestic and international terrorism, but anything else that wants to come to harm our country, dear Lord. Keep them safe, keep them sound, and please bring them home back to their families. Again, thank you again for our first responders, which those men and women are out there each and every day as well, serving and protecting, so we can sleep easy at night knowing that if there's an emergency or if we need help, those men and women will be there. So keep a hedge of protection over them as well. Also, I want to thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, as it goes in nourishment of our bodies and our bodies tonight's service. Again, thank you for the frontline workers, all our truck drivers, railroad workers, anybody that's the front line of America, dear Lord, to keep us running, to keep us strong, dear Lord. Keep a hedge of protection over them and bringing them home safely to their families. Anybody with a spoken or unspoken prayer request, that you touch each and every one of them. You're the ultimate healer and ultimate comforter, and you can touch each and every one of them, dear Lord. Again, thank you for tonight. Thank you for today. Thank you for the show, and thank you for the great week that you have ahead for us, dear Lord, as we go into our Labor Day weekend, that you keep everybody safe as they're traveling on the roads or whatever they may be doing, and know what Labor Day is all about, dear Lord. We ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says, Amen. Amen. All right, let us stand. All right. And I'm going to ask Mr. Michael Heater if he would lead us in our pledge.
Indeed. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Again, welcome into the show. My name is David Rodgers, right along with Mr. Michael Heater, right along with senior producer Dave Holland, back in the saddle. And Dave, hey, the reason you hadn't been in the saddle is because we've had some issues. But we cleared those issues up. Now you see all those pretty graphics. We're back with VMix again.
Yes, sir.
So that's a good thing. He's smiling over there. So that means he's got a job. Hey, you had a job anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that either one of your computers didn't get VMix or Stringo.
Well, what had happened, Dave, is we got into Facebook's dual authorization.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, they wanted to know you were who you say you are.
Right.
So finding the language and the steps to get to that point,
yeah,
it was a little tough, but bringing you in made all that happen because you're the creator.
Correct. And we had to just get some codes and some things like that. We plugged it in and perfect.
It baffled me.
It baffled me too because I couldn't understand, Michael, why Mitchell was able to do the show on both of our pages. Yeah. That's what I don't understand. But hey, we are not to understand a lot of things. That's the way it goes. Yeah. No Byron Bagwell again, no Mitchell Gunner. Mitchell Gunner's show will be this Thursday night on the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. Mitchell Gunner hosting. He's got several great guests, so make sure you tune into him. So I'm going to fill in on the patriotic quote of the week as I welcome all you viewers in. Thank you for coming on to On the Spot with David Rodgers. And I'm going to go ahead and read the quote of the night, David. Here we go. I got two. Okay. Right. To succeed, jump as quickly at opportunities as you do conclusions. To succeed, jump as quickly at opportunities as you do conclusions. Now, I know Byron will probably know this, but you guys can guess that are tuning in and coming on to the show. Y'all have a guess as well. I'm going to start with you, David. Any clue? It is a founding father.
A founding father.
Yes.
That sounds like John Adams.
That sounds like John Adams. That's a great guess.
Or what?
Austin? Oh, you want to go again?
Is that Samuel Adams? I'm thinking.
Well,
not the lawyer, not the lawyer, but the rebellion.
The president, the guy that became president, or the other guy?
The other guy.
Samuel Adams.
Yeah.
All right.
The beer guy.
The beer guy. Okay, yeah, the beer guy. Austin, you got a clue?
No, I'm actually got weather stuff.
Oh, you got weather stuff cooking. All right, we'll see.
All right,
he's working just a few minutes.
I've heard this.
Uh-huh.
I think it's Ben Franklin.
Okay.
I'll.
You gonna go with Ben?
I'll go Ben Franklin.
You'll go Ben Franklin. Okay.
That's kind of a good guess.
If anybody else has got a guess here, I guess it hadn't come through, but we want to continue on the show, and if there's an answer that pops up, that's good. And I'll tell you, somebody got it right between you two. Dave, you absolutely got it wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is Ben Franklin. Nice job, Ben Franklin.
I was going to say, Ben actually has kind of that personality to say it like
that. That's
that.
what I was thinking. It's just kind of just
arrogant.
Had that air of Franklinness about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. The people are the only legitimate fountain of power. The people are the only legitimate fountain of power.
Wow,
that is a founding father.
That one I know.
All right, David.
Oh, I'm going to John Adams.
Okay. You're still working on weather stuff, Austin?
Yes.
Okay. Michael?
Great guess. It was a good guess.
He's a lawyer.
Fountain of Power sticks in my mind. I remember reading this one. It's been a while back like that. I am 90% sure that is James Madison.
All right.
That's good.
Let's see here.
Listen.
All right. No other guesses right here. So we got 7 live right now, which we are expecting more. Somebody at the table's got it right. Michael, you absolutely got it correct.
There we go.
It is, James.
2 for 2.
2 for 2 tonight. Wow. That's a great job. Great guess. So,
do my homework.
There you go.
Gotta keep Byron proud.
Absolutely. Byron has used that quote before, by the way.
Yes,
so on his page. So if you read his quotes, daily quotes, you'll get a lot of these. So again, welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, right alongside Michael Heater, Dave Holland, Austin Stevens. We'll have the weather here in just a few minutes. Hey, don't go anywhere because here comes the round table.
Yeah.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Starke, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
this is the Round Table. Here we go around the region, around the table with the latest news and notes. Brought to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call David Company at 904-964-3338. Open Monday through Saturdays, 9 to 5, closed on Sundays. But I guarantee you, if you dialed up Dave's number, he'll be down there on Sunday to give you a haircut. I promise that.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
It's hard to say no.
We begin in Putnam County, where 3 teens have been arrested for burglary after they reportedly caused an estimated $100,000 in damages. The now closed Jenkins Middle School campus in Palatka. Prior to being destroyed, security cameras got the destruction on camera, and one of the youth resource deputies was able to positively identify all the individuals. All 3 of the 14-year-old juveniles were charged with first-degree felony burglary with more than $1,000 in damages, third-degree felony criminal mischief, and third-degree preventing or obstructing extinguishment of a fire by interfering with the fire extinguishers. Additional charges are possible, and the case remains active.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office reports that scammers are calling citizens and pretending to be with the Sheriff's Office. The callers are using a device which shows the number they're calling from as an actual Columbia County SO phone line. They're threatening the callers with a gag order so that they would not disclose any information about the call, and they're requesting Apple gift cards. This is clearly a scam. If anyone receives any call from anyone claiming to be a law enforcement agency asking for gift cards or money, immediately hang up on them and contact your local sheriff's office or police department. That investigation is also continuing.
Wow. Ocala Police Department officers are investigating a vehicle versus pedestrian crash on South Pine Avenue at Southwest 17th Street in the southwest part of the city this afternoon. The pedestrian was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and all travel lanes have now reopened since then.
Over to Union County, where Chastain Safe Park in Worthington Springs will be closed while the boardwalks and the fishing pier at the park are removed following years of vandalism, abuse, and flooding that destroyed the structures. Town Councilman Shane Massey said the wooden structures will not be replaced, bringing the facility back to a more natural and a safer setting. The work is going to cost about $20,000, and it should be completed by about October 1st.
Keystone Heights Junior Senior High School recently announced it has been named a University of Central Florida Certified Community Partnership School, recognizing the best practices to help students and families that are at greatest risk of educational and financial failures. The Community Partnership School model at Keystone Heights is a long-term commitment to bring quality academics, healthcare, counseling, and mentoring. Keystone partnered with the Children's Home Society of Florida, Asa Health, and Clay County District Schools, and also Santa Fe College.
Very impressive. Over 60 people attended the August 25th meeting of the Clay County Chamber Lake Region Prosperity Partners at the Keystone Beach Pavilion. Sheriff Michelle Cook, County Commissioner Betsy Condon, and newly elected school board member Michelle Hansen briefly addressed the gathering and talked about civilian responses to active shooters in the workplace.
A torrential downpour on Sunday afternoon overwhelmed 3 drains on the roof of building number 1 at Bradford Middle School, which houses 20 classrooms and the front office. School was canceled until Thursday due to the large machinery brought in to dry out the building. Lawley Elementary also saw some minor flooding, but school was not impacted. All right, here we go. And as Austin is getting ready to do the weather, come on in, Mr. Austin Stevens, with our weather report.
Well, everyone, I'm glad to be back, and it's been raining a lot. I'm honestly tired of the rain. It's going to unfortunately do the same thing. Tomorrow is your only day where it's 60%. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it shoots all the way up to 100% every day. Daytime highs around 90 with heat index values up to 105. Labor Day weekend dries out at the end of the weekend. Sunday through Monday with 50-50 shots of showers and thunderstorms. A possible tropical system could possibly impact our weather next week, but as of now, it looks like it's going to turn off towards Bermuda and dry us out. Back to you, David.
All right, thank you very much, Austin's Weather Service. Michael, what do you have?
A quick question, Austin. I had received a report that there was some potential flooding along the Santa Fe River thanks to the rain that was coming in north of the county. Do we have an update on any of the river floodings, whether it be in St. Mary's or Santa Fe?
I will check in on that, actually.
Okay, very cool.
Very good. All right. Thank you for that weather update. That was Austin from Austin's Weather Service. He is not only our weather guy, but he downloads our show after each and every show to YouTube. And that will be up usually on the air day by 7 p.m. the following day. So if you can't catch us live on Facebook, you'll be able to catch the show on YouTube. All right, trivia on Wednesday night at Fun Point and Thursday night at the Downtown Grill in Starke. And I tell you, Mike, I don't know what you had last Wednesday. You're fixing to get into that here in a few minutes. But Michael Heater is the host of trivia at Fun Point on Wednesday nights. Starts 7 p.m. sharp, right, Mike?
7 o'clock sharp.
7 o'clock sharp. Tell everybody a little bit about it.
So we have a great time. It is by far the best trivia on Wednesdays. Located at Fun Point, located on South Walnut Street in Starke. We have a great collection of categories. Thinking about introducing a new one.
Are you keeping it silent or are you going to get
No, actually, because I think this is something that you and I could probably enjoy together. I have come across old copies of the TV Guide. I think it might be advantageous to do a little visual up there and see if they can identify the TV show.
You'll have to send me one tomorrow.
I think we may have to do that one. Trivia has all sorts of categories that we do. Name that tune, of course, a very popular one. You got to be kidding. That's always the one about a crazy, stupid law. It's still on the book somewhere in the United States. I give you the law, you give me the state. Not as hard as it sounds. And, of course, we have a lot of fun with appetizer trivia and poker and a whole bunch of other stuff that happens every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. sharp at Fun Point.
All right. Also, do you know any food specials? Does it change all the time, Mike?
It does change up a little bit like that one. I would suggest the squid. Okay, no, not really. No.
I would.
It changes each night like that one. They do have specials on Wednesday nights. Best way to find out, though, you can call ahead or just come on down for trivia and join us. We usually try to get there about 6:30, get a nice bite to eat beforehand. Some of the Italian dishes are really good, as well as the burgers. You can pick and choose off of a wide variety on the menu. Come down, check it out, have a great time. Fun Point on Wednesday nights.
And J.J. Thompson's the cook down there, along with a couple other people that we know. So make sure you go visit Michael on Wednesday. Then if you can't make it, or if you just want trivia 2 nights in a row, you come Thursday night to the Downtown Grill, where I'm your host, David Rodgers. I've hosted trivia each and every Thursday night down there. We start at 7:30. And you come on out. We have several categories like Mike. Haven't done name that too because I don't want to copy Mike. But we have, and the answer is, which I'm fixing to give you that. So that's very popular. We've been having a lot more visual categories. I know Mike has a lot of visuals with his. We're starting to do a lot more visuals with things, famous objects, something to that effect, famous places, and we'll put something up there. So a lot of visual categories. And then, of course, we got the final question, which is always worth points. That's fun. So Thursday night, you can come down and visit me. Wednesday night's him. And here is the answer is category. And it is what, David? Well, look at there. Mike, you want to tell everybody what that's word is?
It is fortune.
Could be Wheel of Fortune. It could be Fortune Teller.
Could be fortune cookie.
Could be. It may be all three, David.
A lotto?
It could be, yeah. Could you pronounce that word fortune?
You could. It'd be Fortunius.
Fortunius. Yeah. So no. So we're gonna go. That sounds like a Crucillatus.
That's it.
But anyway, fortune. So make sure you go down there. Now, here's what everybody looks forward to. Now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WDAG, Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Dulles, mine and Byron's boss on Friday nights, Michael's boss when he has to do some voiceovers, and the Bradford County Telegraph and their great staff, including Owner John Miller, Editor-in-Chief Mark Crawford, the ad guru, John Ryan Tillman, J.R. Tillman, and, of course, Mr. Photogenic himself, Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. I love that. All right, these are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph in the 3rd week of August in what year? Actually, the 4th week of August. Last week. We'll call it last week. Bike Fest draws biggest crowd ever. Oh, I already know this. Because we were there. And you already know.
Yep.
County's budget hearing set. Middle school mourns passing of longtime receptionist. Was that the last week of August of 2012, 2014, or 2016?
And let me get back to where we were.
Yeah, Bike Fest draws biggest crowd ever. County's budget hearing set. Middle school mourns passing of longtime receptionist. Was that the last week of August of 2012, 2014, or 2016? All right, here we go. We're going to give you a couple little clues right here. Mike, I'll read the first one. You can read the second one. I'll read the third one. Okay. Pam Whittle with the North Florida Chamber of Commerce said that the Bike Fest on Call Street produced the biggest gathering ever mustered.
Right. Hey, a 96-page budget document was up for discussion at the scheduled Bradford County Commission public hearings, and while the millage rate had not changed, taxable value was down, leading to discussions about how to move forward.
Longtime BMS receptionist Sally Rose died following an extended illness and was remembered for her 30 years of service in the school district, working in the front office of the middle school. Mike, that gave it to me away as well. So, yeah, on that. Both the first and the third one. I wasn't too sure on the second one. Bike Fest draws biggest crowd ever. County's budget hearing set. Middle school mourns passing of longtime receptionist. Was that the last week of August of 2012, or 2014, or 2016? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. My name is David Rodgers, right along Michael Heater. No Byron Bagwell tonight, as he is working late with his job. Mr. Dave Holland, senior producer, back in the house. Austin Stevens, you just heard him with the good old weather report. We'll have him or Michael give that weather report here later on. But welcome into the show. This is where you guess, ladies and gentlemen. You've got 3 choices to guess. If you guess that choice, you get put into the fire hat. That big fire hat that you see Michael has, those names get put into that hat. Next week, or next week's show, we will pull that winner, and you have a chance. And again, you have a chance to win a $25 gift card from the Downtown Grill, which is also always good. You can use it anytime you want. You can use it at trivia. You can use it when a band's there. You can use it whenever you want. So, this is your chance, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see a lot of guesses. David, we've got guesses coming on, but I'm going to start with you.
Wow. I'm going to go off the cuff and say 16.
You're going to go with 16, okay? Austin?
Wasn't slightly paying attention because I was looking at these river flood warnings.
Okay.
I'm going to go with David. I'm on David's bandwagon tonight.
2016. All right. Michael, you can't.
I can't.
All right. So, I do know this. And, we're going to get some guesses right here before we do the drum roll. But before we do that, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, Albie! I hope you're feeling good, son.
There you go.
All right. So, you almost threw me on this. You almost did. Because prior to the city taking over the Bike Fest, Johnny Watterson did 2 of them. And it was prior to one of those dates that are up there. And I thought, and you tell me because I read the articles, that 3-day event, both times he did it, brought in over a couple of $1 million to the county.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know the number of the city. Now, was she saying number-wise or dollar-wise? Numbers-wise. Okay. All right. I know this answer. I'm going 2012. Anybody want to jump on that bandwagon can. So I'm going, that was the last week of August of 2012. And the reason I know that is because of that, now that he said it, because like I said, I thought the biggest problem was when Johnny Watterson did it. And then Miss Sally Groves, Autumn was in the 9th grade or 10th grade when Miss Sally Groves died. I'm going August 2012. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm going with. All right, let's welcome in John Probst. John Probst is on. Say hello, John, Mike.
Hello, John.
Byron Bagwell, good evening, brothers, sisters, patriots, infidels, and
me.
Miscreants.
Exactly.
There you go. Roy Jackson's on. He's watching. Reginald Dix is watching. Lisa Terry Heater is watching. Byron Bagwell, like I said, is watching. Miss Shirley Bagwell, hello, ma'am. How are you? Hope you've had a great week so far, and we'll see you later on this week. Randy Brooks is on. J.J. Thompson, the cook over at Fun Point. Your cook on Wednesday nights.
Tim.
Boy, he puts out some good food, don't he?
He does.
Tammy Testone, of course. Hello, Allie, and to you, Tammy, and to your family. Noah Gibson's on. Mr. Kurt Miracle's on. Want to talk a little bit about something that me and Kurt's talked about. Me and you done it. Michael hasn't been improved because I haven't had a chance to tell him, but I think he'll love the idea. All right.
Okay.
You will. All right.
You work for it.
Yeah, take my word. Hey. All right. Let me see here. Susan Cunningham's on. Hollywood Jones. How are you doing, Hollywood? Susan Cunningham. Melba B. Johnson. Renee Stegall Shaw, my old classmate. Hi, guys. I got here as soon as I could. Better late than never, right?
Yeah, that's
There
it.
you go. You know who else is watching? One of our buddies, Chief Jerry Felton. Lottie Molly's
Yes, sir.
All right, Renee Stegall says hello, Albie. Renee Griffiths is watching. Gail Allen. Jimmy Sparks from Lake City, Florida is watching. Here we go, Mike, with the guesses.
Hold on, wait a minute.
All right. Susan Cunningham says 2016. Randy Brooks, 2016. Jimmy Sparks, 2016. Roy Jackson, 2016. Randy Scoggins, 20-0. He's watching. Shirley says she's going to follow the bandwagon. She's going to join me on 2012. So that's all the guesses I've got so far. And I'm trying to reveal up my. You ain't got your phone on, do you? I'll hopefully that'll go away and I'll be able to see some more. Don't see any at that time, but I do see 2012 there.
That's good.
All right, Byron hasn't guessed. Maybe he's on a run or something.
He might be. He's probably-
All right. All right, here we go. So we can continue on with the show. Drum roll, please. Here we go for a chance to win a $25 gift card. And the answer is, should have listened to me, August of 2012.
Absolutely. Yep.
One person, Miss Shirley Bagwell. Congratulations.
That's it.
Wow.
Yep.
She's
Dave,
smart.
do you remember, and Mike remember, Mike, when did you come to the county? When did you officially become involved with
First
President?
time?
Oh,
Yeah, 2011 is when I came here. August 4th of 2011 is when I started the county.
okay. But you had lived here. Did you live here prior to that or not?
No, I was
Okay.
still in Melrose in 2011. I didn't move here until 2012.
All right. Did you get involved, or did you go to the Starke Bike Fest when Johnny Wooderson did the first two?
I came up here for that. Yeah.
Okay. Because we was involved with the rest, remember, and all that.
We had a
That
great
was
time.
back in 2006 and 7, or 8 or 9.
8 and
9 or 9 and 10. It was somewhere there.
8 and 9, I believe.
8 and 9.
I think it was. Yeah.
And Johnny drew a big crowd there each and every one of those 3 days. As a matter of fact, we had Blackfoot and Molly Hatchet on. You remember that? We had Blackfoot, Molly Hatchet that Friday night. And who did we have Saturday night? Did they split? Did we have Blackfoot Friday night and Hatchet? Because you remember the wrestling opened up for Hatchet.
Yes.
All right. Then he came back and says, let me do one in November.
Right.
He come back and did one in November, and that's when he went and got CDD. Charlie Daniels,
Charlie
man.
Daniels.
Yeah, was you there for both of those?
I
You
was
remember
not
that?
there for November. I was there
Okay.
for the original. I wasn't there.
So, and we did the wrestling there because we pretty much opened there. So that, you almost threw me, but then when you said numbers, I was thinking, okay, because remember the city took it over and has had it up until, what, a couple of years ago? We haven't had one. in a couple
Yeah,
of
it's been a few years, but I can tell you that this has been discussed among other things like that. I got to give credit to the city.
Excuse me.
The city manager Drew Mullins, Jimmy Crosby, the city clerk, and Brandon Ludwig, the city community services director. They're really working on trying to bring a lot of community events back here like that. I'm trying to help them as best I can on that one. Bike Fest has come up in conversation. So there's a number of things coming down the pipe here. I know that we're working on some concerts. I know we're working on expanding the downtown square. And I was approached about possibly doing something at the riding club in the arena.
Oh, okay.
Not the least of which would be a Kentucky Derby Day
Ooh.
out at the riding club to kind of celebrate horses and horse racing and stuff like that. But that's down the road. We'll talk about that one. But yeah, the Bike Fest was a huge success, and I personally would like to see it make its return in some way, shape, or form, because I think that was a big boom for the.
It was. Now, Mike, I will say this, and Dave, you've been to many of these events. We've worked many of these events. The problem with a bike fest is, and the reason I don't think that it worked, Mike, in downtown was because if y'all know bikers, they want to come and have a good time.
Yes.
They want to drink.
Yes.
They want to see some let's call it wet t-shirt contest. I'm just saying what it is. Wet t-shirt
Colorful
contest.
activities.
Yes. They want to do, potty pool. They want to have fun in games. And I think when we do it in the city of Starke, because of some of the logistics around there,
Well,
it's
no.
not feasible.
Well, let's cut to the chase here. I'll say it so you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There is a line between family-friendly, youth-engaged entertainment and,
Okay,
what
you
the
put it, okay.
and what the bikers want to do like that. And so there has to be a nice balance of it. One of the proposals that was pitched was to do it as a two-pronged event. So during the day, bikers come downtown, they display like a show and shine, bring in maybe some food trucks. You got all the restaurants downtown. They have almost like a car show environment where they get to show off their bikes and they get to have fun and people get out and look at it like that. And then in the evening, they move on to a different location where the bikers can then do what bikers tend to want to do.
So with that, are you saying that would have to be at a dual location?
Likely, if it was going to be held downtown, it would have to be at a dual location. If it was going to be a single location, it would probably be somewhere like
The
fairgrounds, where they open to the public, and then at a certain time, then the gates would be closed. The community would say, okay, it now becomes a private event that's being hosted and put on by the bikers for the bikers. They're camping and basically kind of limited as a private event type thing. And that's all the logistics that would have to be worked out to bring something like this together. Not saying it couldn't happen, just saying that there's a lot more logistics involved to bring back the aspects that both the family-friendly, the youth-oriented excitement that comes along with seeing the motorcycles and the people that are associated with it, as compared to the bikers wanting to get out, have a good time, to do what bikers like to do, as any club would want to do, and we understand that. So there's this kind of a fine line, a bit of a balance that needs to go into that for consideration, which I think we could do as long as we plan it out with all the players and do it accordingly.
Well, and you bring up exactly, and I want to back you up on that a little bit there. I think, it's usually a 3-day event, and I think on Friday, if you remember correctly, with the one we did with Johnny, both those times, you remember we did a poker run. We left, Friday afternoon, 4:30, we took a poker run. We did a 100-mile loop in this area here. We had 5 stops that we did. Yeah. We need to get the bikers engaged in some fun events, like Mike said, there, where it's more of an adult thing, you know what I mean? Because Friday, let's face it, Friday is sort of a you're getting down here day. You know what I mean? You're trying to get settled in, like Mike said, whether you're camping, whether you're going to a motel, a hotel, whatever the thing or whatever it may be, you're trying to get checked in. But there's guys that get here that's come from California, Germany, Canada, places like that, you know what I mean? That's come here for this bike fest. And we've seen a lot of them. There was probably 30,000 people that come through that gate at any one time. That's a lot of people, and you charge $35 for you and a spouse, or you and a girl, or whoever it is, and you get for $35, you get in there for 3 days. That's a pretty good deal. And you start doing that times 30,000 people, you do the math. I can't figure out the zeros, Mike. But anyway, we need to have like a poker run on Friday. Like Mike said, maybe close it off, get a decent-sized band in here. Maybe like we were just talking, somebody like that to play. Let them have a good time on Friday. Saturday, as Mike said, they moves over to the downtown, to the downtown area, the downtown square, where there's more vendors, more of, maybe get some bands out there, you know what I mean? Where on the square where the guys can still, they still drink down there. The beer is available. Right. And the drinks are available. It's got to keep it in the square, but bring some bands down that way. And then, like Mike said, as it starts getting darker, then the party shifts over back to the fairgrounds or wherever that place may be. And then you can have your night activities.
And I think this is a great opportunity because one of the things that made Bike Fest a success was the bikers that wanted to show off. I mean, let's face it, you take a lot of pride in your bikes, just like the Jeepers do when they do a Jeep show and shine. Mitchell with his cars and car clubs and everything like that. It's no different. So what you have to do is you have to kind of again, it's a balance that allows you to make that determination of what do the bikers want versus what do we want in the community, and what can we as a community do to support them just as they would probably want to support us. Right. And it's just working out the fine lines. Pam is very good at that. She's very knowledgeable and that sort of thing from past experience. You gentlemen are as well. Brandon brings a lot to the table as well. So this is one of several topics that has come up that we were talking about. We want to do things, whether it's a concert series, whether it's Supper on the Square, whether it's any number of things that we're trying to bring, eventually making Starke a destination city, getting to where we bring in some acts and that attracts more attention, which brings in bigger acts, which basically allows citizens that come here, enjoy themselves, have a good time, maybe stay overnight, that builds a bed tax. Then people start to realize, hey, this is a great opportunity to get together. More people come. Businesses see this as an opportunity because we have a continuation of economic opportunity, and now we have businesses coming in. It causes revitalization of downtown. It's kind of a win-win situation, and that synergistic effort is what allows Starke to grow. And if it's planned properly, now we're looking at a way that can do a metered, controlled, or at least a monitored growth that would allow the city and Bradford County to grow and bring in tourism dollars, to bring in additional economic opportunities that in turn would allow our infrastructure to grow and to support that effort coming in from outside.
Yeah, Shirley said she knew that 2012 answer because Pat Lawson was a very special friend of hers. Janet Rolls watching. Thomas Lee, I'm not sure who you are. Do you know Thomas? Do you know Thomas Lee? I'm not sure who Thomas Lee is. But Thomas, I respect what you wrote here. Hey, it's a free country. He said we talk too much. Just get to the point. Okay? Hey, Thomas, that's your opinion. The problem is when you're doing a Facebook live show, and I don't want to get into a beat with you. Like I said, I don't know who you are. You've got freedom of speech just like anybody else does. We need to explain what's going on, because if we just throw something out there, everybody's going to ask questions. But as me and Mike broke this down, and Dave just broke this down, it's informational. It's now, if something like this comes about, they're going to say, hey, they broke that down just like it would happen. So, Thomas, look, I have nothing against you. Your opinion, if you want to listen to Charles, that's great. Hey,
and we have more to cover.
Yeah, we've got more to cover. So, it is what it is. Michelle Hawthorne, I just wanted to address that because, anyway. Michelle Hawthorne, welcome in. Benny Jackson, welcome in. Renee said, send them all over to the Gulfport Dragway for the Memorial Day blowout. It'll be celebrating its 40th year in 2023. Yeah. And she said you can go to www.gulfportdragway.com blowout. Kurt Miracle says, good evening, everyone. And Kurt, I'm going to get to what me, you, and Dave have been talking about. Mitchell Gunner asked Renee to send him that information, and she said yes. She said y'all should all attend as a research and fact-finding mission on how to start your own. That may not be a bad idea, and maybe do it on the spot there. Also, Eddie McGee is watching. So again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. My name is David Rodgers, right along with Dave Holland, Michael Heater, and of course, Austin Stevens. Austin, have you researched that? Do you want to come back and let everybody know what you found out about the rivers and everything?
All right, so the St. Mary's River up in McClenny does have a river flood warning from the National Weather Service out of Jacksonville. At 2:45 p.m., it was at 12.7 feet. Flood stage is 12.0 feet. As of midnight tonight, it's expected to crest all the way up to near 13 feet. So anyone along the St. Mary's River, watch out for flooding.
All righty. Thank you very much, Austin. He'll be back to wrap up the weather here in just a little bit.
Very good.
Mike, I want to move on to a couple of other things. Absolutely. I know we're going to get to the national news here in just a minute, but I want to talk about a couple of things that we got coming up. We got a new show segment in the works, Mike. It's called In Our Eyes and Hearts of Bradford County. It's something that Kurt Miracle came to us about. If y'all don't know Kurt Miracle owns Miracle Automotive and Towing, and he's been a sponsor of our show for a long time. He actually wants to sponsor this segment. I think it's a great idea what we'll be doing, Mike, is we'll be bringing people that are elderly, that are older, that seen Starke come from here to where it's at now and ask them questions, talk about a little bit, whether it's the former mayor or a former commissioner of the city or county, a former school teacher or whatever. I thought it was a great segment. I think it'll add a little spice and a little juice to it. I think the community would love to hear that. And as Kurt said, you never know when these people are going to pass away. And sometimes, you don't always have a footage or a picture or something that they've done. But if we do it here, we've always got a record. Always got a record, so we can come back and go, hey, Miss Joanne Hall, passed away 2 years ago, but, before she passed away, she was talking about how the school system, seen it grow. And we have it right here on record. So I think it's a great idea. We're going to do it at least once a month. I'd like to do it 2 shows a month, maybe breaking it down a little bit. Those will be special guests coming in to our studio, whether Studio B or our new studio, wherever. And they come in and they talk about that. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I like that.
I do too. And Kurt Miracle is going to sponsor each and every one of those segments already as he's doing the show. So I want to thank Kurt Miracle for coming and doing that. John Probst misses us. He says, you guys do a great job explaining and giving us the information we need to know. Thanks, brothers. You keep up the great work. Don't worry about the naysayers. Lorenzo Jones. Lorenzo Jones is watching, my boss over at New Millennium. I had to say that. He said it. So, but anyway, again, welcome in. Mike, the other thing that we've got coming up, and I thought we was going to do it last night. Actually, Coach David Rodgers called me up, and we're going to get into a little tornado football here in a little bit. But he calls me up and he goes, hey, David, are we doing a coach's show? Well, there was a couple of things to that, a couple of caveats. One is Jimmy Clark was supposed to get back with me and say, hey, is the coach available to do this? I'm not going to interrupt the coach's practice. He may run his practice 6:30 or 7. So I wanted to figure out when we was going to do this show.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it all year. And when he's come on board, we mentioned it at the Tornado Touchdown meetings and all that. So actually, Mitchell Gunner, Dave, has created a StreamYard page. So we can bring in different camera angles. If you want to call in, you can call in. Our VMix just doesn't, when we get to VMix and VMix can do this, we're going to do that shit through VMix. But for now, we have to do it through StreamYard because if somebody wanted to call in, you have to do it physically right here. We can't see your face. Dave's working on that diligently. I'm telling you. Every week, every weekend, he's trying to create different things. I assure you that Dave will come up with that answer. But anyway, we're going to do it that way. It's going to be on Monday nights during football season from 6 to 7. And it's called The Coaches Show, Bradford High School football. It's going to be The Coaches Show, Bradford High School football show with head coach Jamie Rodgers, myself, Byron Bagwell. If he can't make it, Michael Heater can fill in, Mitchell Gunner can fill in, Dave Holland can fill in with the producing. We're all going to be involved with this, but it is, somebody asked me, it is a separate entity from On the Spot. Okay. So it has nothing to do with On the Spot. This is its own page. You'll have to go look at it. Mitch will send it to you guys. We need to share it so we can bring that out because I tell you, funny story. You know who called me last night? You wouldn't guess in a million years who called me last night.
Jimmy Hall.
Pretty close. Okay. Pretty close. Cindy Fudge.
Ah.
Cindy Fudge called me. I was just getting ready my supper before I went over to your house. She said, David, what in the HE double hockey sticks is going on at Beef O'Brady's? Would anybody like to guess what was going on at Beef O'Brady's? Mike, you probably already know.
Wedding?
No. Union County football he's been doing it for 2 years now. Michael's going, yes. They do a radio show up there, and they've been doing it for 2 years. Now, we've talked about this at our Tornado Touchdown Club meeting, is how do we get back in there? Well, I know our people are trying to get back in there, but Union County's in there, and guess what sticks at everybody's crawl? What's across the street from Beef O'Brady's?
Ice.
Oh my God, with that big, beautiful sign, and you can see the stadium and the scoreboard right up above that, and everybody's going. Union County, 15 miles down the road, has traveled over here to do a coach's show. Oh my gosh, and they are living. Cindy was asking me questions, Mike. I couldn't answer. I did not know. And I still don't know. I don't know what happened.
Well, my understanding was that I thought we had worked it out to where, how can I put this? I thought there was a beef with Beefs, but had been resolved, and that we were doing that one, and that the Union show was going to go back to Lake Butler. That was my understanding.
My understanding
Maybe
too.
Reyes was going to host it or something along those lines.
Okay.
I presume that has not transpired.
That has not transpired, and I don't know more than what you just said.
Okay.
So that's what I was trying to do. Me and Cindy was on the phone an hour, and I'm like, Cindy, she asked me 14 times. I'm like, I don't know. Right. So the only thing that I do know is something happened, and I don't know what department or what regime. Somebody previously has made or left a sour taste in the owner's mouth.
Indeed.
Don't know who, don't want to call out no names because I don't know. But, so now we have to regroup because I'm telling you, you know it, Mike and Dave, as well as I know it, they're not going to kick Union County out there now. I mean, they're already started. So this is something we have to work toward next year. But now we have to do a coach's show to show them that we can do something. So we have to do it at the downtown grill, which is okay. We'll do it in that. We'll do it in that one room. That one room is perfect. You can get 40 or 50 people in there.
And here's the thing about it. I understand franchises and I understand that sort of that one. But the downtown grill is Starke. I mean, that's a homegrown. Ricky and Chrissy Thompson have put their heart and soul into that building. And Beefs is a fantastic location, but it's a chain restaurant. There's other chains around the area. So I think having the Tornado report or the coach's show or the Rodgers report or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But doing it at the grill, that just signifies that once again we're really promoting local business. We're really encouraging people to come down and really enjoy what downtown Starke and what the local aspect can bring to a community. And I presume this is going to be open to a live audience.
Oh yeah, open to a live audience, 1 hour show where you can ask questions. You can even call in.
I would love
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and not to take anything away from Beef, not to take anything from Union. I think Union should promote their stuff. They're a very proud program.
Sure they are.
They have a lot, and I have a lot of respect for Union County and Tiger Nation. But I love the idea that it's being done at the grill because, again, it focuses on the fact that Starke takes care of its own community. You buy local, you shop local, you eat local, and you watch local. And that, to me, I think that speaks volumes for what the community is doing for our football team and now what the team is doing for the community.
I agree fully with that. That's why we're going to do this. And by the way, Dave, if you can put this up somewhere, Mitchell Gunner says you can find the page at the Bradford High Football Show with David Rodgers. The Bradford High Football, I think it should be Coach's Show with David Rodgers. Yeah, Michael will probably send that to you. Yeah. Matt Peterson said, okay, Beefs, gotta go then. Traitors. Lots of laughs. And look, man, I agree. Here's the problem. We wasn't proactive for whatever reason about trying to get the place.
True.
You know, and again, that's nobody's fault. And I think people have been working on that. But, hey, Union County beat us to the punch. Again, I don't have anything against Tiger Nation. If they have a chance to win a state championship and they're not playing us, I'm pulling for them.
Sure.
I'm going to pull for Keystone. Now, Keystone's in our district, so that's a different story. If they beat us, that's a different story. But up until then, I'm okay with that. Mitchell says Bradford has better internet than Union. That may be a point, David. What do you think, Mike? David? I don't know. You know the infrastructure better than I do.
Yeah, I can't speak to what Lake Butler has. I know that they're working on some broadband. I know that the city of Starke has become very motivated and is very forward thinking on a broadband project to enhance broadband services around the city. That was one of the things that I had brought up in my campaign, was that we're working on this, and the city is continuing that effort. So I could see why they would want to do a show in Starke, because we do have better opportunities for that sort of thing. But that being said, I think that there's opportunities for both teams.
Yes.
And I just happen to believe that the downtown area is better suited for what we are really pushing for.
Great opinion.
Could you repeat that again?
I sent it to you.
I sent it to you.
Send it text message in your phone.
So anyway, Z Samaya is watching. By the way, hello Z. Glad to see you. Z and Tuck. Hey, Hot Topics on Thursday nights, 10 o'clock. You can watch those two guys along with the Adventure Team. Lisa, she's from Australia. Have you watched that?
I've only seen it one time.
Oh my God, you got to hear Lisa talk. She's got that Australian, and she's doing it Australian time. So when they come on. And then Ben is a big TikTok and guru. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. He does different woodwork type things and things like that. But anyway, they've invited me on the show a couple of times, especially when we were doing it. I did it a couple of times, and I'm just glad to get an invite from those guys. But hey, Z and Tuck and Z, Hot Topics, 10 o'clock. That's Eastern time now, 7 o'clock their time. And you can watch those guys if you want to stay up late. If not, hey, you can catch the replay just like you can on our show the following day. But that's Hot Topics with Z and Tuck. Kurt Miracle says, please, people, Brady's, let's fix this.
Yeah. And I think that it's something that can be fixed, Kirk. I'm not dismissing that at all. However, I think we have presented a golden opportunity to really support downtown, the city, and really embrace this. Anybody can work on this. This is
Sure.
It's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Sure.
I think Beast will. I think with the changes that are happening, the success that is going to come with Bradford Tornado football, that Beast is going to embrace this and bring it into the fold. That being said, let's run with this. Let's enjoy the opportunity we have.
That we have right now.
We have with the grill and Call Street and the historic area, being able to bring this show from right downtown Starke. I think it's a great way to do it. There's the information on the screen. The Bradford Coaches Show with Jamie Rodgers. It's going to be on Monday nights, 6 p.m., broadcasting from the Downtown Grill on Call Street. We invite you to come out, be a live member of our studio audience. You can interact with the coach. You can talk to the show pony himself. Give you an opportunity to learn all things tornadoes and to keep up with everything going on this football season.
Absolutely. Kurt Miracle. Pat Peterson says, beefs are expensive for their portions. So we're not missing much, though. And Kurt Miracle agrees. Pat Peterson said there's Granny's, too. The problem with Granny's is they're not open at that particular time. Even if I wanted to do it there, they close at 3, right?
Now, if we want to do a coach's show at 4:30 in the morning, anyway.
Are you waking up?
I'm usually
my question is, Union County does a coach's show in Bradford County.
Right across the street from your high school.
Are they talking about Bradford coach? Or
No. They're talking Union County football.
It's all Union stuff in Bradford County.
And they travel. Hey, Cindy told me the place was packed. They are bringing fans over and listening. And here's the other. Go ahead, Mike.
How many more fans would there be if it was a Bradford County coaches show?
Oh my gosh, dude!
Place would be full,
overflowing.
And I agree with you on this one. Now, again, from the mindset of someone who is supporting the city and economic development, I'm not going to complain. If you want to bring in 40 or 50 people to add to the coffers of economic development, Bradford,
absolutely. I know you was looking at it for that. I knew you were.
But here's the deal. If they can put 40 or 50 people in Beef O'Brady's for a coach's show from Lake Butler, I can assure you we can probably pack the house at the Downtown Grill. Because if you want to compare apples to apples, I'm pretty sure that Bradford would pack the house out just as much, if not better, than what Union could bring.
And I agree. And we're starting to advertise it. That's why I want y'all to spread the word on this thing.
Absolutely.
Now, to get back to your question there, here's the only small advantage that they got over us. And I say small because we do a great job with what we do here, David. The way we bring our product, the way that you've got VMix. If it's not VMix, it's StreamYard. The way we write up our shows, the way our shows are directed and going. The only little thing that they got over us is their broadcast. Not only is on Facebook and YouTube, I believe, but they've also got that small radio station. They bring their equipment over there. So not only is it aired this way, it's aired over the airwaves. Our radio station can't do that because our radio station is way bigger, pumping out more wattage, and everything after Chuck gets off the air at 10 o'clock, and Mike knows this, goes to the network. He has to clear everything through the network. And to get spots like that has to be planned like a year in advance. So if we want to do this on the radio and we want to do 10 shows, Chuck would have to start talking to them right now.
Exactly.
And say, hey, I want to get clearance for this, and this. Now, you know what else you're talking? You're talking sponsorship. Who's going to sponsor that show? You know, are you going to ask your tornado, sponsors that does tornado football on Friday nights, hey, you want to tap in on this? You're asking them for double money. You see what I'm saying?
That is true. But now there's another option. If you really want to get creative, a lot of people enjoy being able to go out and see Christmas lights, and they tune in their radio to listen to music that synchronizes to the lights. Correct?
That is correct.
So they use an FM. They use an FM transmitter. I know Austin's familiar with this process as well. So that you can buy for $220. I know because I've done the research on it. You can buy an FM transmitter that will transmit out for a mile or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, depending on how much money you spend. You know, it would only take a few $100s for us to take a frequency on the FM dial, say 92.7, let's just say, or whatever it is, and we could transmit on a frequency no longer utilized. It would be broadcast below FCC requirements, but anyone in the community could tune into that channel and listen to the show on their FM radios.
Right, and that's not a bad idea.
To consider.
Now, and we can talk about this later, and I know we want to move on because
we've got
all right. So
I say that because we're looking from a emergency management standpoint. We're looking at
okay,
so that we can provide evacuation information for people driving through the area or sheltering information. Should we lose internet? Should we lose our basic forms of communication? We still have FM radio through WEAG as well as what our office would be putting out on the FM radio.
Mike just stopped reading my mind.
So let me ask this, Mike, if that's the case, if the county decides to do that, the sheriff or whoever decides to do that, is that something that we could piggyback on?
That would be a conversation that you'd have to have with the sheriff and with the county emergency management director. But that would be a conversation that would require.
Yeah, all of us talk. Okay, all right. Mitchell Gunner says, and you can send that to Dave. That's the where you can go to www.facebook.com/the Bradford High School football show.
How about you screenshot that and send it to us?
Yeah, we can do that.
That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah, we can do that. Michelle Starke said hello, guys. Mitchell Gunner says, I had someone call me. They want to know why preventative maintenance is not being done to our drainage systems in the city of Starke. Mike, why don't you explain?
Okay, so all right, yeah. Again, one of the topics that came up during my campaign was infrastructure with the city of Starke. Here's the deal. If you go online to St. Augustine, Gainesville, Jacksonville, Palatka, Green Cove Springs, if you get 5 inches of rain in 90 minutes to 2 hours, everywhere is going to be inundated. The system is not set up to take that amount of water in such a short time. Now, was there some flooding areas around the city? Yes. Temple Avenue 301 was underwater at some point here. Wilson Road, out in my neighborhood, some yards flooded. But the water drained quickly. As a matter of fact, the creek in front of my house rose 8 feet. And then within 17 hours, it had dropped 8 feet because the water drained just that quick. Because the city does have the infrastructure to do it. But when you overwhelm it, it's like drinking out of a fire hydrant. It's going to hit you hard, it's going to hit you fast, and it takes time for water to drain. Water is going to move to its lowest point There's lift stations that will help it. But in this situation, because Bradford County is relatively low,
It is.
and it's flat, water will drain, but not as quickly as you may want it to go. But if you look around the city of Starke, the next morning, Monday morning, you looked, there were a few pockets of standing water, but the roads were open. They were open that night. There was a lot of stuff that happened. Now, is there things that we can do that would improve that? Yes. I put in some work orders for Wilson Road through the city manager's office. City has already jumped on top of that one. But honestly, if you live in an area where you are flood prone and you notice that there's some debris blocking a culvert, or worse yet, you've driven over a culvert and it's crushed it down, you can simply put in a request. Send me a message. I'll take care of it for you. Or you can contact the city of Starke. Or if you live in the county, contact Bradford County Public Works. And they will go out there and do preventative measures to take care of that. In my situation, though, from what I've seen, there was flooding because, again, 5 inches of rain in 2 hours is a lot of water to take in. And it doesn't matter where you live, whether you live in Starke or Jacksonville, St. Augustine, every time they get a bad rainstorm, they flood.
It flooded at my house.
And
I'm on 300 feet of sand and it flooded.
Right. So Keystone Heights experienced flooding conditions. So it's not exclusive to Bradford County. It's not exclusive to Starke. But the infrastructure will allow the water to drain. Does it happen like that? No. But it will happen. And you can make that process more efficient by simply doing a little bit of preventive maintenance when it's dry to help get that going along. If there's tree limbs or you're cutting grass and the yard debris ends up in the ditch, maybe rake it out a little bit or do something that will help facilitate getting that water out. And again, if you have a problem that requires city or county involvement, reach out to the city, reach out to the county, or if you're not having any luck with that one or you're just not sure what to do, reach out to me. I'll be happy to do what I can to help you.
There you go. I hope that was the answer you was looking for. Mitchell, do me a favor and send that. I don't want to lose anybody's comments. Yeah. Will you send that to Dave Holland so he can put that on there about the www page for the coaches show? I greatly appreciate it. I'll have to watch the replay of all already missed. Absolutely, Michelle. You missed a great show so far. She said, these is a good idea. They are always sports oriented, yes, and it's got a sports setting as well. We love it there. And that's why Union loves it there. They know it. It's got TVs. When they're there after the show, they can sit there and watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hey, or whatever's on. It could be whatever, but it's always sports oriented. Exactly. Now, I will say the downtown grill is as well. Yeah. Now, we are in that other room because that's where we need to be to get a little bit more of a focus and a general audit. But, hey, you can step out, go over there and get your cold beverage. Mm-hmm. TVs are right there. You can watch the same sports that those guys are watching.
And have a good time doing it.
Exactly. Chris Coffey's watching. Hey, Matt Peterson says their show is bringing their money to our community too. So that's what Mike was saying. He's like, keep
exactly
it up.
Right. That's it. I'm not going to complain about Union County coming over here to do a broadcast because they're spending money in Bradford County. They're spending money in Starke instead of in Lake Butler. Come over here, buy our gasoline, buy our food, spend time here, help our local economy. I'm not going to complain about that because ultimately it benefits Bradford County and stuff.
And again, Kurt Miracle brings up a good point. He says, I agree, Michael, but the location is in front of our Bradford County Tornadoes door, and we understand that. That's what Cindy Fletch was calling me about. She says, I see a bunch of purple and gold, and then I look across the street, and our high school's sitting there. I get it.
But here's the deal. Okay, think about this, though. Okay, you want to make an impact. You want to get attention. You want Beef to pay attention? Beef looks at this and says, wow, we get 30 people in here like that way. Yeah. They got 50 or 60 going to the tornado thing.
The downtown grill, right?
We could make more money if we were to do it here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's all about economic opportunity, economic development. We invite others to come in. If Keystone wants to come up here and have a show, great. But we, as a community, need to come out and support our local tornadoes, our Bradford County, right, our Starke, our community, and then other businesses like Beefs and others like that would be like, wow, maybe we need to get in on that one, and now we get the opportunity to potentially relocate next year.
Right.
Why, if Beef O'Brady's is so desirable, why
can't we do it on a different time than them?
Great point that you bring up there. That's a very good point. Now, just like anything else, when is it fresh in your mind? Right when it happens, right? So you have a football game Saturday. The coaches go watch film on Friday night. Excuse me. You have the game Saturday. You go watch film. Sunday you're studying. Now Monday, he's already looking at the next week's game, and he can talk about last week's game.
Oh,
Monday's
gosh.
just
It's
it's a perfect match and a
I
perfect day.
understand. Yeah.
And that is why. Kurt says, well, mates, you have a good point. Matt Peterson said, what about starting a new station with lower wattage? I think Michael just hit on that. Lucy Davis, welcome in. I haven't seen Lucy in a while. Hello, Lucy.
Hey, Lucy.
Michelle Starke said, we also need good coverage for our JV and middle school football team. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yes, indeed.
I'm glad that you brought that up because the number one thing that I get is on messages, texts, or messenger or whatever it is, why ain't there any coverage of JV and middle school football?
That's right. Middle school's playing tonight.
Yes.
And I'm going to try to see if I can find a score to get a report on that one. Because the middle school student, that what we again, not to hammer on the campaign, but I said we need to focus on the youth because they're the future. We're looking 5 or 10 years down the road. We should be really promoting and encouraging the middle school players and the JV players because in several years, they're the varsity. And if they know the community's behind them, they're going to put forth that extra effort, and that's going to keep us in our winning ways.
Right, and that's exactly right. And we're going to look into some coverage of JV and middle school football.
Absolutely.
The problem is we all have different things that we do just beside the show. You know, we've got our show on Tuesday nights. We like our show on Tuesday nights. Michael does trivia on Wednesdays. I do trivia on Thursdays. Then we got varsity football on Friday nights. So we'll come up with something. And maybe some week, maybe we can go out and find. Remember we were talking about expanding a little bit. Maybe we can find a couple of players that will want to come on and do something live. You know what I'm saying? With JV and middle school football. Terry, and we didn't want to come off and sound like that. She said, "Come on, fellas, we can do it a different night than they do. We should be thankful for others coming to our town spending their money. Good for local business. Why does it always have to be a competition? It's all for the children and we're neighboring counties." Terry, I agree. And look, that's what we said we would do it at the downtown grill. We have no issue with that. But I think your long-lasting tornadoes that's been around here a while, it gets in their crawl because it's across the street. Okay, honestly, let's talk about this for a second. Let's say that we're doing it at Bees and they was doing it downtown. Would there even be a conversation about this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because you'd still be upset at the fact that Lee Butler was over in Starke.
Well, and again, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't be quite the rub.
it wouldn't quite the rub.
The street.
It wouldn't be quite the rub. So yes, Michael brought up a good point. Yeah, we want everybody to come in. Hey, if they want to bring 100 people in, go ahead. Come on with it. And you're exactly right. And all it is just that the location of that show is right across the street. And that's all it boils down to. You watch, as Michael said, this first show, I can guarantee you, if we promote this right and everybody talks about it, we share it, there will be at least 50 or 60 people live on that show. It may be more. We may be over, they may be outside the hallway. So, they might have to watch it on their phones. Jeff Dolans is watching. Hello, Jeff. Mitchell Gunner said, they said that was the reason behind installing the drainage pond by the library. But if maintenance is not being done, it doesn't help to have that pond.
Okay, so just so you know, Pratt Street did experience a small amount of flooding, but it was further west. The pond did exactly what it was designed to do. It did take in all of the stormwater runoff that came in there. The library did not flood. Residences and the properties along Pratt Street, all the way down past Christian and head towards Orange Street, they were fine. We did see some flooding areas out there, but it was better than what it had been previously. The repaving of Orange Street came along because there was some significant issues in flooding that happened, and those were alleviated for the most part because of the new work that was done. It's a work in progress because there's a lot of work that has to be done. Infrastructure is rough. And it's interesting because one of the stories that I want to hit on, in fact, I don't know if now would be a good time if you want to wait a little bit, is a story that I want to hit on with Jackson, Mississippi.
Let's wait on that one, Mike.
Okay, because this ties in.
Ties in.
This ties in exactly to what the city of Starke is doing now, because what Jackson, Mississippi has not done has led to a catastrophic situation right now, this week in Jackson, Mississippi. At a population of 180,000 people, Starke is taking steps to avoid this from happening. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Jennifer Swanson Davis is watching. Michelle Starling, well, she said Lonzo West. She said, one of my bonus daughters works at Leeds and goes to Union High. Either place works for us. Yeah, hey. Again, we're saying the same thing. Donnie Thornton, thank you for coming on. Kurt Miracle says, agree, Miss Terry Wilkerson Harrison, but we should be first on Monday evening and Union on Tuesday evening. But the downtown grill is another great option, which we just talked about. Michelle Starling says, thank guys, I know y'all are all busy, so she liked the idea about trying to maybe get somebody to get some coverage on the JV and middle school football teams. Billy Rayburn's watching. I hope you're on your meds, Billy. Josh Collier's watching. Kurt Miracle says, put the shoe on the other foot.
I think you did, because we talked about switching it over and
absolutely
Union County there versus us. Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
I heard the manager is friends with the Union County coach, Billy Rayburn says. And that could be, I don't know.
And it's very possible.
It is possible.
It is.
So, let's see.
Just remember that if we get a good turnout for our tornadoes,
right,
and we can generate a lot of revenue for a business, money talks.
Yes, it does.
That's all I'm saying.
And you can get a double whammy on Monday nights. They there, we're there. It's a double whammy for those two places. And also, hey, my gosh, Michael, my car's running low on gas. Hey, stop right over there at the Circle K right over there and fill the thing up, man.
Right. I'd love to have you spend your gas.
Yeah. Member says, which coach? He's talking about the Union County coach, Kurt, is who he says the manager of Peace is friends with. Hope next week we can see some discussion about college debt forgiveness. We'll get into that just a little bit here.
We will, and let me preface that by saying this one. Byron should be back next week.
Yes, he should.
And there was some discussion about it because it's been a hot topic with the debt forgiveness, because there's been some talk about, does this mean now that according to the IRS that everyone that get $10,000 or $20,000, that's now considered income? They have to pay taxes on it? Possibly. Some say yes, some say no. There's also some discussion about why, in the first place, would the president say that he's going to authorize this when it's already been brought up back several years ago that the president has the authority, and Congress is now taking that topic up for discussion as well. Byron will have the latest on that coming up next week.
Now, is that, it's up to, what did I hear, 800,000 students? Is that right? Or is that number right or wrong?
I think that might be a little high.
Is that a little high?
I do know that
it's a bunch.
It is a bunch. I do know that the Inflation Reduction Act had accounted for $300 million to go towards helping out local things, and it turns out that money is now gone because the president is going to give it to the college students as forgiveness for their loans. And so that money is now going to colleges. That money is now gone, which means that all the added taxes that are going to be paid to accomplish or to make up for that money is now falling on the taxpayers. We're right back to where we were, but now it's going to cost us more money.
More money, yeah.
But we'll
we're going to talk about that. We'll get into with Byron with that next week. Yeah. Downtown Grill really gives more than anybody else in the community. Just give it back to them, he said.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Billy, anytime we can do an event there, that's what we do. So, again, JV deserves it, Melissa Cribb says. I agree. We're trying to figure out a way to bring some video coverage, some audio coverage, video. We're trying to do something, but I promise you we're working on that. Totally agree, Billy said. Timothy Lee's watching. If they don't give it to the teachers, they're going to give it to somebody else in China. And Eddie McGee says, let's go, Brandon. All right, let's move on, Mike. I know we are I want to get into some tornado football. I want to get into a few college pick'ems. Yeah. But we got a couple of things here that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So tie that in with Mitchell, right?
Right. So we're going to forego the national report. Sorry, Byron, I had some stuff that I know that you were interested in talking about. We're going to skip past that. We're going to save it so that you can hit it full speed next week. Breaking news coming out of Jackson, Mississippi this evening. 180,000 residents in and around Jackson, Mississippi, which is the state capital and the largest city in Mississippi, have little or no sanitary water for the foreseeable future after the city's primary water treatment plant failed, according to the governor, who had made that announcement this afternoon. The emergency has changed the way that Coach Deion Sanders had to prepare for the Jackson State Tigers, who are going to be playing Florida A&M this weekend. So as a result of that, Deion said in a video that we've been hit with a little crisis. Water means we don't have air conditioning. They can't use the toilets. They don't have any ice. They're operating in a crisis mode, according to Sanders. The team is in the process of moving into hotels and finding a practice facility to prepare for their football game this weekend. Recent flooding, operational failures, and understaffing of the treatment plant, along with decades-long infrastructure decay, culminated in a complete failure of their water supply system, which has resulted in this water crisis. Here's the deal. This is something that, and we've heard the term at the county level and the city level for a while, they're kicking the can down the road. This is what happens when you kick the can down the road and you come to a dead end. You now have a city of 180,000 people that do not have enough water for fire hydrants. If there's a fire in the city, they don't have enough water supply in the fire hydrants to put the fire out, other than what they're carrying on their engine companies and possibly their ladders. That's it. You can't drink it. You can barely flush your toilets with it. And now they're looking at something that's not going to be resolved in the foreseeable future because they kicked the can down the road. Give credit to the city of Starke. There has been some complaints about utility bills and this whole thing. I get it. But folks, if you don't take steps now to fix the little things, they grow into bigger things. Starke, in 5 or 10 years, could be facing the same problem that Mississippi, that Jackson, Mississippi is facing right now. So when you hear about the water bills or the new water treatment plant going in, or there's water mains that have to be repaired or replaced, they give the city credit for making the steps to try to prevent what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi from happening here, because our water system is also in a state of decay. It is over 100 years old in certain areas, in the older parts of the city. So every time there's a water main break, crews are going in, they're making the replacement of the piping, they're making the replacement of stations, they're going in, putting in a new water treatment plant. Ultimately, that is going to prevent a lot of more serious problems down the road, which in turn would cost a whole lot more money. So while the city is working on trying to make these fixes, this is one of the things that they're trying to do, because if you haven't read about it, go online, watch the news, and Google Jackson, Mississippi water crisis and read about it, because I'm telling you, a city the size of Jackson, Mississippi that has no municipal water supply is a huge crisis. This rivals Flint, Michigan, when they lost their water system. And again, and these are all opportunities for failure that have just they've ignored the decay for years and years and years. Cities like Gainesville that have tried to work on their infrastructure, they've been dealing with their own issues like that. But Starke, taking the effort now so that a little problem like the water treatment plant we're dealing with right now and the water pipe doesn't turn into a catastrophe like what we're seeing in Mississippi. I'm going to get off my soapbox about it. You get the idea. But if you want to know more about it, reach out to me, reach out to the city. We're going to get an update from the city manager down the road so that you can see exactly what their plan is and compare apples to apples. See what is going on in Florida, not just in Starke, in Florida, with the Florida municipal water supply and everything like that one. Compare it to Michigan, Mississippi, and other cities that are facing the same issues we've had, but they've ignored it for so long. We're trying to prevent that from happening here.
Yeah, this is my home state. This is where I grew up. I grew up in the southern part of Mississippi, though. This was about 3.5 hours for me, where Jackson is, like Michael said, the capital. It's got a lot of people in it, and I can assure you that's a mess. They're probably going to the outer skirts where some of these smaller towns are that doesn't have this problem. It's probably checking into motels, hotels.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
And just trying to get where they can get a bath even, or shower or whatever. And better yet, like what you said,
you can't even drink out of the faucet.
No.
They don't even have enough water pressure to supply the fire hydrant. So if the fire breaks out, If they can't hit it with 500 gallons of water on their fire engine, they got a problem.
They got a problem. So you're right.
Big problem.
But anyway, thank Mike. I want to go back to one more thing, Mike. I want to hit two stories. Go back to the Mikhail Gorbachev thing.
Okay.
Former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev has reportedly died at the age of 91 after a long health battle, according to Russian news agencies. Gorbachev was the leader of the Soviet Union from 1985 until its collapse in December of 1991. As General Secretary and President, he helped forge weapons reduction deals with the U.S. and other Western powers and remove the Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old. But
Gorbachev, he was instrumental in brokering what it was known as perestroika.
Yes.
If you remember that, which was basically the Russian term for peace.
Mm-hmm.
However, his downfall with trying to become more modern and trying to do that was that he kind of encouraged and allowed a lot of the Eastern Bloc nations to break away from the Soviet Union.
Right.
The Soviet Union completely fell apart and dissolved on December 26th of 1991, one day after Gorbachev resigned as the president. But that's where, Georgia, Austria, all these little places.
What about the Ukraine?
All these places broke away from the Soviet Union, now becoming Russia. And now we're seeing the current administration trying to move back in and take over, taking over Ukraine. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start moving towards Georgia. I wouldn't be surprised if they start moving into the Slavic Republic, trying to reestablish a Soviet Union based on that one. But Mikhail Gorbachev, again, dead at the age of 91.
Absolutely. Also, I want to get into somebody messaged me and said, would you get into this on the show? And we can spend a lot of time on this, but I won't. I'll just make it plain and simple.
Okay.
The Brittany Griner story. Everybody knows Brittany Griner. She's been in the news. She's been all over the sports channels. She's a highly, she's a great basketball player. Tall. She can play. She plays in the WNBA. She played at Baylor. And she was playing in the summer league, if y'all don't know the story, over in Russia. Well, she got caught on the way back, coming back. She got caught with some cannabis oil, and I think it was in some vapes too, right? It was in vapes, and they caught her. And after a while, and during the investigation, they found that she had this on her, and they arrested her. And during the arrest, she was, calling the United States, see if there was anything that could be done. And she finally had her trial, and she got 9 years for that. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, and I'm going to get into the story and then break out of it in a second. When I was in the military, Dave, when you was in the military and you went to these foreign countries, the PAO officer of your command always told you, you can't do this, do that, do this, do that. You should know the laws of each and every one of those countries. Yeah. And we always got that drilled in us. Even with civilians, when they go over there, they tell you, don't do that, because, hey, when you get put in prison over there or in jail or any kind of detainment, you can almost forget it. You're pretty much unknown unless somebody within that country will try to help you. I mean, the only thing you got is your phone call to somebody, and that's how they know where you are. And this lady happens to be a high-profile player, and everybody knows her. And there was some dealings of how we can get her back home. Well, one of the things that Russia wants, of course, is for the United States to release the biggest arms dealer in the world, the fifth known terrorist in the world, and what else? There was anyway, mainly him, and they would release Griner, and they would release that the press guy that's been over there for a little while. Same charges. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm looking at for you here now, I love each and every one of you. I love all you Americans. I love what we do here. There is much love to everybody on this show, but that young lady should have known what she was doing and the possibility of her getting caught. And she did. And unfortunately now, she has to pay the price. Whatever that price is, which is 9 years, but the United States should not and better not deal that terrorist, I'm going to call him a terrorist, weapons, he's a terrorist basically, him for those two. I'm sorry. That's the way that I feel about it. If you let him go, what usually happens, Dave? That usually turns around and bites you in the butt.
Yeah, more people die than we save.
Yeah, because they're probably going to commit an act, especially right now with Russia and Ukraine and how we've been backing the Ukraine up on during this war. Oh, they would just love to try to do something to us. So I am sorry for Miss Brittany Griner. She committed a crime according to Russian law, and that's what you have to pay for that crime. So she has to do her time. I know 9 years is a lot of time, but hey, she's got to do that. I know a lot of top profile players, Mike, are coming out and speaking on her behalf, and while we haven't done anything, LeBron James, a lot of them that has come out and spoken while we haven't done anything. You got to think past just that she's a high-profile basketball player.
Yeah, in her defense, Russia is using her.
Oh, absolutely. You know what they're going to use her for the next 9 years? She is going to create a lot of women basketball players that's not only going to play in their country, they're going to play over here too. And that's what they're using her for. And you're exactly right. That's what she's going to be doing unless some other deal is made. 9 years, that's what she's going to be doing. I'm going to stop there because I know Byron wanted to talk a little bit about that, but it was brought to me. I wanted to hit it. All right, here we go. Any other thing on the national level? No.
All
right.
Let's move on. Listen, you can't see this. I'm helping him out. Bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
The top one is Saturday. The rest of them are Friday night matchups.
Uh-oh.
And then we'll go into the Saturday matchups.
Okay. All right. That's how. So okay, right here. Okay. So anyway, first and foremost, let me get some comments.
Get some comments.
There we go.
Yeah.
We also have our community team, the Cowboys, and Coach Rodney Mosley puts a lot into them.
Yes.
Middle school. Now, I'm glad you said that.
I love
Starts right there. Starts right there.
Indeed.
Feeds up into the middle school program. Middle school feeds up to the JV. JV feeds up to the varsity. And that's the way it goes.
And I love the Bradford Cowboys. They used my fire engine for being in the parade last year.
Yes.
Love the Cowboys.
Me too.
And I encourage them. I hope they continue to do well.
Hey, do you know Austin Stevens? He's watching.
I've heard the name.
There you go. And Renee Seagal-Shaw says something here. These dirt politicians have been building this debacle for decades. And I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up, Renee, and I know we've been in touch just recently here, but good grief, man. Like Michael said, how can you just let something like this go on? Now, here in 2022, you are facing a hell of a crisis there. And, now what? How do you fix it, Mike?
It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money. And unfortunately, Mississippi doesn't have that ability to spend a lot of money. But what's going to end up happening is that they're going to have to do a bailout. The federal government's going to have to come in. It's probably going to run in the neighborhood of probably $20 to $30 million to a stopgap, and it could take weeks before they are able to get the water plant up and running. I'm hoping it doesn't take that long, but you can put a Band-Aid on it, but I don't think it's going to really work well. You're looking at a long-term, extremely intensive, extremely expensive project that honestly should never have gotten to this point. But instead of pointing fingers, you need to start working on trying to get resolution to it. But again, I say all that to say this one. There are cities like ours here in Starke that are Kyle Gerals. Kyle Gerals is the superintendent of water wastewater services for the city, and kudos to him because even through the transition of managers and through everything that's happened on, Kyle has always put the city of Starke first, and he's the one who spearheaded getting the water treatment plant replacement up and running years ago. He saw what was happening around the region. He saw what was happening in our city. Kudos to you, Kyle, for doing what you're doing because Kyle's efforts now is going to save millions of dollars to the city in the years to come.
All right, maybe we can table this off, Mike, unless you got a short answer here. Do you guys know what the plans are with the new urgent care and Holiday Inn Express on the south end of town? Are they planning to build a road to the new school between it? Do anything about
To a
it?
new school. Okay. Short answer, no, not yet. Could happen. Don't hold your breath. There's a lot of complaints about the urgent care center that's going in simply because it was a residential area. Of course, it went through the court battles and everything like that one.
Right.
And there's some flooding issues that came as a result of that one. That's another, again, we'll deal with that later on. So no, I don't anticipate that. Now, are there going to be some DOT changes to 144th Street, potentially 100 in that area as well? Has to be, simply because of the school zone and because of the school bus access and everything like that one. What those plans are at this point, don't know. I'm going to do some digging.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you though, the man to ask is the guy who has his pulse on everything traffic related, and that's Mitchell Gunner. So between Mitchell and myself, we'll get you some answers as to what's going on with that one. School is expected to open next year.
Yep.
I'm not at liberty to talk about what's coming down the pipe. I will say though that Southside Elementary School is going to close, but only temporarily.
All right, there you
go.
go.
And
You heard that, temporary.
And we're really excited about the potential for what is going to be taking the place of Southside Elementary School.
Jeff Cook is watching. Phil Jackson's watching. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. Billy Rayburn. She should not ask America for nothing. She loves to hate America. Let her stay over there. And I said it in a nice way. And me and Michael, when we said it in a nice way. I don't know if there is a nice way to say that, but you're exactly right. But Shirley says she hates America, so let her stay there. Absolutely. Commit the crime, do the time. Take LeBron with you. And then, well, there you go. I'm good. Yeah. No, we should never release the scumbag. Of course, Byron, we talked about this. Shirley says, amen. David, wish Byron was there to address the situation. Shirley, absolutely. Now, I just did it in a very sort of nice way, as a professional host should do it. But all those comments that were said there is basically I said that just in a nicer way. Kevin Howell's watching. Michelle Starke said, thank you so much for that answer. So let's close out the show real quick there, young man. Austin, real quick with the weather update. Just real quick.
All right, showers and thunderstorms expected. Rain chances will go up, like Michael said about rainfall rates up to up to 5 inches in a 2-hour period. Our weather station recorded 3 inches per hour as I was looking back on the data, just to check things. Including Bradford County had up to 2.5 inches per hour on Sunday, so it was lovely. I have an RV leaking because of this heavy rain.
Oh,
but enough with that. That's just random talk.
Okay.
Showers, thunderstorms expected once again tomorrow, and increasing in intensity Friday and Saturday. I wish not, but Mother Nature's just got more of a control of my forecast. And then Sunday, Monday into Tuesday, 50-50 shot. Highs will rebound back into the lower 90s. I can't wait for a cold front. Speaking of a cold front, we have a upper level cold front moving through right now,
really?
which will cause some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow through
How
Sunday.
about some lower temperatures? Forget it, Dave.
Wishful thinking, Dave.
Not yet. However, since you are the resident expert here on all things tropical, we know we don't have any named storms in the Atlantic Basin or the Caribbean yet. One disturbance at 80% here. Can you tell us the latest on this one? And do you believe it's going to maintain its track out past Bermuda, or do we have anything that we need to worry about in the next 5 to 10 days?
As of now, the next 5 days, it's a watch and see what it will do. As of now, models are split on it may do that turn towards Bermuda, depending on if we have a high pressure system right over Mississippi and Alabama. If that high does weaken with the invest that went into the Yucatan Peninsula, and that's going over toward Texas, if that high does weaken, then we might be in trouble coming up towards the middle and end of next week. But I'm not here to put the fear in God in everyone. But it's just a wait and see game. Stay tuned, Austin's Weather Service. We're hooking up computer systems we will be right on it, right when it happens.
Byron told me to tell you it's going to rain.
Yeah,
Byron, stop it. I don't want it raining.
She says, Michelle Stark says, oh, there aren't any late season big storms. We either. So,
I'm afraid it will be.
Okay, they're saying it will be. So we'll see. But anyway, want to talk about college football. We had week 0 last week. We got the big games this week. So and this is your chance to pick. So I'm going to give you a couple of games. You can look at the schedule yourself. So one of the games that's going to be played is what they call the backyard brawl. That's the West Virginia Mountaineers. They'll be traveling over to the 17th ranked Pittsburgh Panthers, who was your ACC champions last year.
That's right.
That game's at 7 o'clock. West Virginia or Pittsburgh, David? Who do you have?
West Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah,
You like West Virginia?
Yeah, West Virginia.
West Virginia's loaded. Give me Pitt. I'll take Pitt.
All right.
All right.
I like
let's
this
see.
one right down here. UCF and South Carolina State. I think that's going to be a really good game.
Do you?
Because I think UCF is going to bring something to the table. I'm excited about watching this game if I get a chance to watch it. UCF.
That's a MEAC school, though, Mike.
It is, but it is.
But they may get them
but-
into trouble.
but-
Florida A&M gave North Carolina trouble for a little while.
Yeah, but here's the point. I don't really care who UCF plays. UCF is just a fun team to watch.
Yep, there you go. So, all right. Well, I see you got the big game there, but do you have something else?
Yeah, so let me get
Okay.
so
All right,
let's
so that was
on this screen here.
that was West Virginia and Pitt. So you need a pick right here if y'all are watching in.
All right, so
It's
it's right there.
Torhella game time in Florida. Buckle up. We're starting to mildew over here, Renee says. I bet you are. All right, here we go.
All right.
So
that game this is the game I'm excited about right now.
me too, and we'll yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
right there.
it starts at noon on
Oh,
Saturday.
can we go into a game before that?
Yeah, that's what
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Watch out, number 13, North Carolina State, because they have been in the tail before. Dave, number 13, North Carolina State, some people predicting that they'll win the ACC. They're traveling to their little home state partner, East Carolina Pirates. They'll play at 12 o'clock. Who do you got?
North Carolina.
You want North Carolina State, Mike?
I'll tell you, I think NC State will win, but they're going to get scared because I'm telling you, East Carolina, it's on ESPN at noon. If you want to watch a really good game, East Carolina, they're going to bring their game to them as well.
Yeah.
That'll be broadcast on ESPN. I've checked that out here. I like East Carolina, but NC State's going to pull it out.
NC State pulls it out, too.
That's what I think.
That's what I think. All right, another one that Mike pointed out, North Carolina, big win over Florida A&M in week 0. They're going to Appalachian State. I'm going to give everybody a quick trivia question. In the last 5 years, 6 years. 6 years.
Carry the one.
Yeah. 6 years. How many total games has Appalachian State won?
Wow. Total all 6 years?
Yep.
How many games in the season?
Sometimes 11 and 12,
Oh, okay. So I'd say
depending on bowl games. So
45.
45.
First I was going to say 2.
Okay.
No, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're 40. I can't.
Dave's got 45.
I'll say 40.
You're going to say 40. Guys, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. Appalachian State has the most wins, even over Alabama, in the last 6 years. I guessed it, but I was off by 2. I said 64. They have 62 wins in the last 6 years. This is little Appalachian State. So North Carolina, you better watch out. Do you know who plays for North Carolina? Stark's very own Dante Balfour, and he played the other night. And it was, made a couple of tackles.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, he did. But then there was one that he olayed, but we won't get into that. He did good.
He did
Dave,
good.
Who do you got, North Carolina or Appalachian State?
North Carolina.
He says, go blue.
Yeah, I got
You
it.
going blue?
I got to go blue. I think Appalachian's going to give him a run, but I'm really hoping for Dante's.
And they'll be 2-0. I'm going upset special. I think Appalachian State's going to beat them with a late field goal.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right.
Now,
So-
here's the other game.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Georgia taking on Oregon. That'll be broadcast 3:30 p.m. on ABC. The Bulldogs taking on the Ducks. I'll be honest with you. I like
You know who's
Oregon.
quarterback in the Ducks? Old former Auburn quarterback, Bo Nix.
That's right.
Bo Nix is quarterback in Oregon, coming back down to, like he said, Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the third-ranked Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia
Which
was
is
tough.
loaded. Georgia's loaded.
Yes, they are.
Stetson Bennett's still back at quarterback. They are the national champions, defending national champions.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
I don't see this as an upset special. I would like to see Oregon knock them off. but that's not going to happen. Georgia's going to take them by 2 touchdowns.
All right, David.
I got to go with Georgia. They were tough last year, and they still got a lot of those players on that team.
I got to go Georgia, man. Georgia, I think it's going to be worse than that. I think they're going to be about 3 touchdowns. Georgia's loaded. They're going to roll them. Georgia's going to roll them. All right, where's that other game, Mike?
I like South Florida playing BYU, the 25th of.
Do you?
They're ranked 25th right now at 4 o'clock on ESPNU. Again, I like this one. I really like South Florida to win, but BYU's going to take that one, I'm afraid.
BYU. Give me BYU.
And that's what I'm at. BYU.
All right, let me see. Keep going down.
Let's see here. Yeah,
Oh, here we go, boys. Here we go. The number 7 ranked Utah Utes are coming to the Slope to take on the Florida Gators.
I saw an article that said that Utah has been trying their best to amplify and create as much noise as they
I
can
heard they
because
couldn't do it.
they cannot replicate what the swamp will be like.
Yeah.
And Napier and the crew want the noise because they said that Utah had and they made the mistake by saying we're scared of the swamp. Don't ever admit that. What were you thinking? Because now all you've done is now you've opened up the decibel lever up to where it's really going to be cranked up like this one. I know they're ranked number 7.
Night game on ESPN, 7 o'clock.
I'm telling you.
All right, you want to pick first or you want Dave?
Dave, you go first.
Dave, who do you got?
I think the Gators are going to spank those Utes.
I
Do you? Okay.
don't think it's going to be a spanking, but I think home field advantage.
That's what I'm going with. Home field advantage.
Gator Nation has been craving. They've been chomping, no pun intended,
To
to get this thing. I'm telling you what, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Gators are going to take down number 7.
So Gators upset.
It's going to be an upset, and it's going to be close. I'd say Gators by 6.
Okay. Utah returns 19 returning starters from last year's team that only lost to your Ohio State by a touchdown.
Exactly.
Cam Rising's their quarterback. Anthony Richardson's going to do some good things for Florida. I suspect Florida's offensive line, I don't think they're that good. Defensively, they should be okay.
I think the defense is good.
Utah, 31. Florida, 10.
Ooh.
Utah beats them by 3 touchdowns just because of the experience. I think they're eventually going to wear Florida.
What's their mascot?
The Utes. Utah Utes.
What's a Ute?
What's a Ute?
It depends on what movie you're watching.
Yeah, it depends. It's some kind of a nut in it or some tree or something. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I like the Utah Utes. All right.
There's a blowout.
There's a blowout. We won't even mention it. Okay. Michael had it up.
Yep.
Number 5, Notre Dame, taking on Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio. 5 versus 2. Ohio State is loaded.
But they're not ranked.
Loaded. They're number 2 in the country. Loaded behind Alabama. They are loaded, Mike. They're loaded.
I know.
They're loaded.
I got to stick with my team.
You're going Ohio State.
Yeah, and anyone who knows me knows they know my 2 favorite teams. It's the Florida Gators and anybody playing Ohio State. Give me Notre Dame. I know it's going to be painful for me because I don't see it pulling it off. But I got to go with Notre Dame.
You can go once for the win.
All right. I'm going to take a Gordon deal, like he said. Give me the worthless nuts. I think the worthless nuts. Give me Ohio State. I think what happens is, like Mike says, I think this is competitive for a little while, and then Ohio State is just going to pull away.
Yeah.
So,
and again, here's the thing about it, and you know what? Actually, there is one. I don't think I see it on this one here. I gotta go for. Let's see if I can find mine.
Okay.
Because you know me, I'm on that bandwagon. I'm gonna be back on it.
Yeah, I don't know who they're playing unless it's not worth mentioning.
I don't know either.
Oh,
there it is. They're playing Colorado. Okay.
Yeah.
ABC noon on Saturday. Michigan taking on Colorado State.
Right.
I actually like Colorado State as a location.
The Rams. I like the Rams.
It's a beautiful
The
campus.
LA Rams.
Yeah.
But Got to go with Michigan on this, but that's just because I've been on the bandwagon for years,
Dave.
and I just got to,
Dave, Colorado State or Michigan?
Oh.
Oh, Dave's like, just going to pay you to say it.
I'm going to pull a Michael.
Oh, you're going to take Colorado State and upset.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking, no. You can take the upset. I'm taking Michigan.
That's what I say.
That's
Dave's
what I
going to take
said.
Colorado
You
State.
can take Colorado State?
I like Michigan, baby.
I
I like Michigan at some point for where I'm
I
at.
appreciate it. That's
All
what
right,
we got
so
there.
we
This is
got-
the Friday night games. We're
All
back.
right, how about the Sunday game? I'll just mention it because I know it.
Yeah, let's just
All right.
the Sunday game.
Here we go.
We got the Sunday.
Florida State played nobody. I get it. But they did what they were supposed to do. They won that game 47-7.
Oh, there it is. Right
They
there.
played Duquesne.
Wow.
They played Duquesne. But you're supposed to beat teams like that are under you like that.
This is true.
Florida State hasn't been doing that. Remember, they lost to Jacksonville State last year.
This
Yeah.
is true.
All right. Big time SEC school, which all are familiar with. Florida State 1-0 versus LSU. Standalone game on Sunday night,
Yep.
7:30. The problem is they're playing in New Orleans. So, Dave, who do you have here? Do you have Florida State or do you have LSU?
Well, that's going to be a good game.
I think it is too.
And I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to stick with Florida.
You're going to stick with Florida State?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
As much as it's pain to say it, or are you going to take your SEC?
no, I gotta stick with the SEC on this one. I
Okay.
think LSU takes Florida State by 2 touchdowns.
Wow, a lot of people are saying that.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to stick with my boys, I think.
Boys, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
so I'm going with Florida State on that one. And then an interesting game for me. Monday night, a standalone game again.
I'm excited about
The
this.
fourth-ranked Clemson Tigers are going to Georgia Tech.
Yes.
They're actually playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's basically a home game for Georgia Tech.
Sure.
Georgia Tech up and coming. Clemson's defense is supposed to be the nastiest defense as far as their front seven goes. Offensively, I'm not sure what they're going to do. They still got some skill players. Dave, Clemson, the fourth-ranked Clemson Tigers, or Georgia Tech? Yellow Jackets.
That's not hard.
He said, give him Clemson.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Give him Clemson. Mike,
I'm going
come on.
Clemson.
give me Clemson. Give me Clemson. Give me Clemson. Dude. All right. And then here we go. Finally, last but not least, Bradford Tornadoes was winning 21-0 over at Baker County with 4:42 left in the second quarter before they called the game. It's been suspended until October the 6th. Restart at 7 with that same score, that same time, and the Tornadoes had the football. So really, the Tornadoes are 0-0 right now because that game hadn't been officially given as the win. So the Baldwin Indians, who won last week over at Wilson 34-14, will be coming to David Hurst Stadium. 1-0, Baldwin against the Bradford Tornadoes. David, who do you have?
Oh, I'm a Tornado fan. If they were the worst team in the state, I'd still go for it.
They spoke up the rotation. Bradford, you want to give me a score? How bad do you think Bradford beats them?
Bradford, what was their score on their left?
21-0 when they left off, and they was driving for another one. They're loaded.
Yeah.
Bradford's loaded. Their skill players are awesome.
I'm going to go 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns,
Bradford.
okay, over Baldwin. Mike?
Baldwin is a bit of a sleeper, and I was concerned about this when we talked about
Yes,
the
we did.
pregame on this one. I think Bradford wins. I think Bradford gets scared. I think it's going to take everything they've got to bring this to them, and the defense is going to win this game. I think it's going to be.
That's a good call.
I think it's going to be probably. I think it's going to be really close, honestly.
Touchdown or less?
Less. I think a
27, 21, something like that?
Oh, I don't even think it's going to
This
be
will be
scored that high. It's going to depend on how Baldwin plays. I'm concerned about it. I think it's going to end up being. I'm going to say 21-17.
Nice score. That's okay, 21-17.
But I think that it's going to take a rally for the Tornadoes. The Tornadoes have got to strike early and maintain in order to do this one because in any given Friday night they can come back on them. So I would be concerned about this one. I think as long as they keep their head down, stay focused, and really just let the defense pound it out, and really focus on the ground game. I'm not saying that he can't throw it out,
Right.
but focus on the ground
Like
game.
they did against Baker.
Baker.
Yeah.
Don't change your game plan just because we're changing the team. Stick with what works. And I think we'll be okay.
I agree. Baldwin's had, we played Baldwin since I've been there 4 times or 5 times. Tornadoes 3 wins, Baldwin 2 wins. We should have beat Baldwin each and every time. Just as you think that you got Baldwin on the ropes and the Tornadoes should win, something happens where they lose.
That's it. That's exactly
This game is at home. I think this team is hungry. Coach David Rodgers has got something special. I like the Tornadoes 34-20. 2 touchdowns. 34-20. 34-20. I like the Tornadoes.
I would like to see that. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get you some scores here, and we're going to shut the show down.
Sure.
Ours is right. Okay. Kurt Miracle says the Florida Gators over Utah. Michelle Starling says go Tornadoes and go Gators. Eddie McGee, nice guess. He says 64. It was close. So that was good. That was good guess. Byron Bagwell says give him North Carolina. Eddie McGee says give him Georgia. Byron says give him Georgia. Ever seen a bulldog get a hold of a duck? Feathers everywhere. Renee Stegall shot.
That quacks me up.
That quacks me up, yeah. I'm rooting for whoever plays Georgia. So Michelle Starling says, give me those ducks.
Yeah.
There we go. Byron says BYU. I agree. Byron says Utah big. Eddie McGee says the Gators signs. You will hear a pin drop at 21-0 Utah in the swamp.
And it could happen.
It could. Michael Box is watching. Byron says, I think this is the score of the Gator game. He says 42-13 will be the final, Utah. Andy McGee says, Ohio, who?
Yeah.
Our offense, Florida can't seem to get it together. They're still my team. I worry about that, too. I worry offensively.
Yeah.
I think Richardson can do something, but he can't do it all.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So, Byron Bagwell says, give me the worthless nuts. Yes, anyone playing Georgia or Ohio State. So she likes Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Byron says, give me Michigan all day. Matt Peters is still watching. Byron Bagwell says, FSU by 13 over LSU.
Wow. Good call.
I don't know if I'm going out there to live that much. I'll take a 1-point win, but I just don't know.
Don't see that happen.
Michelle Starling says, give her the SEC. She said LSU.
Yep.
Renee Stegall Shaw, I know, is a LSU fan. She says, the Go Tigers. You know, G-A-Yeah, Go Tigers. Byron Bagwell says Clemson. Good night, Miss Shirley Bagwell. Love you. Byron Bagwell says Bradford by 21.
Be good.
Likes them. Be good. I'll take it. Michelle Starling said Tornadoes. We have a great team and an awesome coach. I see our boys going far. She loves the Tornadoes. Roger Cruz is watching. If they execute like they did at Baker, they will win by double digits. I think as well.
And the execution is going to be good.
Yeah. Kurt Miracle says 31-10 Tornadoes. It's local time, 8:52. David, thank you for producing the show.
Yes, sir.
Glad
Glad to be
back. Glad Phoenix is back. So we've got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah.
Austin, thank you for the weather and doing a great job on that. Thank you for putting a show up on YouTube. Michael, thank you for sitting in for the missing Byron Bagwell. Again, I'm glad to have you as a co-host. I'm your host, David Rodgers. Again, Byron Bagwell couldn't be here. I know he chimed in on a couple of things. Miss Byron Bagwell. Mitchell Gunner, On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, Thursday night.
Yes.
He's got 3 guests. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Go and listen to host Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Has a lot of great content. On behalf of all these gentlemen, God bless you guys. Have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Go Tornadoes and big-time college football. Thank you, guys. Love each and every one of you.